Joker Folie à Deux from director Todd Phillips is releasing within the next month, and there's a lot of anticipation for the sequel to the Oscar-winning film in 2019, which includes Joaquin Phoenix coming back as Arthur Fleck and Lady Gaga joining the project as the infamous Harley Quinn. The trailers and footage we've seen thus far has been promising, and I've been waiting to see whether this could be a comic book film that turns out to be another genre-defining one. But one aspect from the upcoming project that I think many have questioned is whether the plot of this next film can be taken in a fascinating direction, one that builds on the messages and themes of the previous movie, but one that has its own journey and ideas to present to us as well. And in thinking about that, the ending, and the outcome of the chaos that this film will likely present to us, it has to be really effective. I have a theory on how this all might play out in the movie, and it connects to a character that is a part of Folie à Deux, and this is none other than Harvey Dent. So in this video, I'm going to be discussing my theories and predictions for the Joker 2 ending and the character of Harvey Dent. Before I get into it though, if you want to see more videos on Joker 2 and DC, then don't forget to support this upload by giving it a like rating and subscribing to the channel. But without further ado, let's get into some theory talk for Joker 2. So a few days ago we had a new TV spot for Joker 2, and that footage gave us our first look at Harry Lautie's Harvey Dent. He calls Arthur Fleck a monster and says that his actions have inspired others around the city to commit violence. It was revealed weeks ago that Arthur Fleck's big trial in the movie would actually involve Harvey Dent being the one who is on the opposition to him in court. And with that in mind, knowing that this trial would be a big part of the film, and seeing footage in the trailers suggesting that something big will happen in one of these sequences, it made me think about what that could be. Now, something to note before we get into this is that a few critics in their recent reviews for the film have decided to spoil big parts of the movie. I haven't read any of these spoilers, and the plot ideas I'm going to throw around in this prediction video are ones that I've thought about based on the official footage released online. So yes, I haven't read any of those spoilers, and to be honest, I think it's crazy that some reviewers have even mentioned big plot events this early before the film has even had a wide release. But coming to my discussion of what could happen, let's start with the introduction of this new Harvey Dent. Even though Joker Folie à Deux presents Dent as an adult, he remains the youngest cinematic interpretation of the Batman villain to date. In this narrative, Harvey Dent has already stepped into the role of Assistant District Attorney for Gotham, playing a crucial part in Arthur's trial arc. This unique take on the Elseworlds concept offers an intriguing opportunity, allowing Todd Phillips to reimagine another legendary character from a fresh perspective. Now, this could also be a timeline where Harvey never becomes Two-Face, but if you've paid close attention to some of the trailers, you'll notice that there is a recurring piece of footage played in each of them, and that is what looks to be an explosion within the courtroom that Arthur's trial takes place in. Throughout other trailers, we've seen Arthur and Gaga's Quinn sing about getting ready for the Judgment Day, and we've even seen Quinn set Arkham State Hospital on fire for what seems to be an escape attempt for her and Arthur. So it makes me think that as Arthur's trial escalates over the course of the film, and as Arthur and Quinn build their relationship, they eventually plan that explosion during a courtroom scene in the final act of the movie. And with Harvey being the key individual on the opposition to Arthur, I think we might see him become Two-Face here. Now, I wouldn't expect this to lead to something like, say, in The Dark Knight, where the final act includes Harvey Dent becoming Two-Face and then committing crimes himself. But in Joker, I think that explosion and Harvey Dent becoming scarred will be used to present the ending theme of Phillips' Joker story in Folie à Deux. Throughout the footage we've seen, we learn that Gaga is a fan of Fleck's and has admired that he stood up to those such as Murray Franklin, albeit shooting him on live TV, and he represented the abandoned souls and mentally ill individuals throughout this iteration of Gotham City. Now, leading into the new film, he has many supporters, one of them clearly being Gaga's Quinn, and violence is spiking around the city post the events of the 2019 film. And while dealing with the ramifications of his TV killing, both Arthur and Quinn use music to connect to each other and to say and do the things they can't in reality. We see sequences of them presumably airing their own TV show, reminiscent of Franklin's from the previous film, and scenes of them getting married and dancing down the court steps, having been victorious in the trial. And this is a moment that, like others, appears to be a hallucination. Now, the trial itself seems to be taking place throughout a majority of the film, and as that continues, Joaquin goes from appearing in his casual garb to wearing full Joker makeup during that trial. And we know from additional footage that Gaga's Quinn arrives in court dressed as Harley Quinn too, making us think that this is towards the end of the movie. And I think this transition of appearance, these scenes of Arthur telling people that he will be heard, and then of course the planning of an explosion there, suggests that both Arthur and Quinn might eventually embrace the chaos and take things an extra step further. Harvey Dent being scarred in the trial explosion and becoming Two-Face would also be a symbolic reference to how Arthur and Quinn have taken their own madness, inspired others, and infected a lot of the city with it. I essentially see Dent being this film's Thomas Wayne, a rich character that is presented in an alternate way through the perspective of Arthur. So this brings me onto my ending theory for the film. I think Todd Phillips would want to end his new film in a way that enhances the messages and ideas brought up in movie 1. I don't think he's going to end it in a similar way to that 2019 film by having this singular dramatic event summarize the chaos that Arthur has let loose. In fact, I think the ending of Folie à Deux will not just show that the idea of an uprising has took hold, but that it has actually started to manifest. Beyond the explosion at the trial, I think we'll see that the rich people in power, essentially your Thomas Wayne and political figures in the city, will be usurped by those who have felt trodden on. If Todd wants to send a clear message or warning with Folie à Deux surrounding the decline of society, how conversation between those who disagree is limited, and how people have less and less of a voice, then having Gotham City's landscape be dramatically transformed by the rising chaos will take what we saw in the first film to another level. The people of Gotham have become inspired by Arthur in his standing up to those who have so much power, and while his methods are controversial, he's given a voice to those in society that feel like they haven't got any say in their own lives. And Harley Quinn is the close example of that inspired figure in this new film. When the both of them give added confidence to that idea, hence the title Madness for Two, then it won't be too long before an uprising in the city follows through. So I think that's what we might see in Folie à Deux. A warning to us in the real world that when compassion and dialogue between people in society become so limited that tensions between them will only heighten. And you see that a lot in today's real world with political and social issues. I know it's a more extreme version of this idea, but take Hitler for example before World War II, a figure that wasn't happy with the political and social environment in his country, and he eventually got a large chunk of people to follow his extreme ideas. I see Arthur being the more distorted, tragic version of that in Gotham, a mentally ill figure that was stepped on and then inspired others to take down those in power. Now, I'm not at all comparing him to Hitler, but I'm saying that it could be a similar kind of revolution in Gotham through a slightly different lens. I think by the end of Folie à Deux, we'll see that Gotham has become even more a dystopian landscape, with figures like Joker and Harley Quinn being those who now essentially run the show. I think this sort of conclusion can both connect to the fears we have of modern society, and it can also riff off the comic books in how Gotham is ultimately perceived. Todd Phillips, the cast and crew have all mentioned in interviews that the new film is much darker than the original and has a very bold ending that will get people talking. And honestly, if I think about where the first movie left us and the ideas that this new one is building on, then I think this kind of approach or something similar would feel right for the direction that Gotham is going in, and it would again reflect the fears that we have about society today. One final thing to know is that the director also said that Joker 2 would be his final Joker film, and that he said all he wants to say in this world. Now, you could argue that the original Joker was only supposed to be a one-off, and that because of its success, we're now getting a sequel. But in the recent Empire magazine interview with the filmmaker, he did say that during the filming of Joker 2019, he and Joaquin Phoenix had conversations about where this could all go, and that gave birth to what we're now going to see with Joker 2. There was no mention of the same thing happening on the set of Folie, Deux, so it does seem like this new film will be the final one with Joaquin and a project that gives us the ending message of Phillips' separated Joker storyline. So with that in mind, you would think that Joker 2 would end in a big way, and one that capitalizes on all the tension and issues that this Gotham portrays on screen. And I think this could mean that we might even see the death of Arthur Fleck, or both him and Harley Quinn. If something like this happens, then the film could show that while they are killed, they have still given fuel to others to reform Gotham. Whether or not things do go down like this, I think the end of this film will be about the city as a whole. The first movie was about how Arthur's personal troubles, illness, and experiences in Gotham lead to him becoming a criminal and inspiring others. To take that further in Joker 2, I think you show the aftermath of the issues at boiling point in the city, and how the actions of 2 lead to an apocalyptic revolution. But they were my predictions and theories for the ending of Joker 2. Alongside The Batman Part 2, it's probably the comic book film I'm anticipating the most, and I hope that it can live up to those expectations with a highly unique and satisfying movie. I think the film will end on some big messages, ones that both evolve the talking points of the 2019 movie and present new angles to that as well. Like I said, Todd Phillips mentioned in his recent interview that Folie, Deux would be the final Joker project he makes, and if that does actually turn out to be the case, then I think he'll want to end it with some bold ideas and story points. We'll soon find out this October if Joker 2 is another meaningful endeavour, and overall, I hope that it can pose many intriguing conversations just like the original. But I'm intrigued to hear what you guys think towards my theories for Joker 2, its ending, and the introduction of Harvey Dent, alongside your own predictions for what could happen. So let me know down below in the comments section. For more videos surrounding Todd Phillips' Joker 2, then subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Also, if you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like, rating, and follow me on social media via the links in the description. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I've been Cortex, and as always, make some noise.